Are you looking for an interesting long-term challenge in Football Manager? And look no further than one of my favourite challenges in the game, and it is the Andorra Challenge, or an Andorra Builder Nation, whatever you want to call it. This challenge is unbelievably long-term, and it's one of the most rewarding challenges you can do right now in the game. Before we get into what is the Andorra Challenge, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because just a few of you subscribe to the channel who are watching this video, it would change the trajectory of my channel. And I really appreciate you guys watching, taking your time and subscribing to this channel. Now, the Andorra Challenge is a simple one. There are two facets to it. You can do it in two ways. If you're playing on console, you can also do this challenge, and I'll get into how you can do that. The first part of the challenge is you could just manage the Andorran national side and get them to qualify for the Euros, the World Cup, and then ultimately win the World Cup and win the Euros. You can also make it harder by making sure that Andorra have to be FIFA's #1 ranked side in the game to add that little bit of extra spice to the challenge. The second facet is you could combine this into a Builder Nation save where you manage in the Andorran League, and you will need a modification for that on the PC. You can't currently do that on console. Or you could do it where you manage FC Andorra in the Spanish second division and try and build them up alongside the national side as well. And those aims for the club sides are to win the European competitions, is to win the Champions Leagues with an Andorran based side and get Andorran League to the best league in Europe, if you wanted to do that as a little bit of an additional spice to this challenge. Now I'm going to get into the team selections that you can choose to take on this challenge both on console and on PC as well. There are two ways you can take on this challenge. If you are playing on PC, then you can download an Andorran Division mod add-in database from your favorite places, whether that's FM Scout, Steam Workshop, wherever you get your database fixes from for Football Manager. Now, it is ranked the 117th division in Europe. If you wanted to turn this into a Builder Nation save where you're managing in this league and the national side, you would have to outrank leagues like the Premier League, the Bundesliga, La Liga, all of the big European leagues with the Andorran League. That would be a very interesting challenge and a very long-term challenge. Now, you can pick a team from the Andorran League, and for me, to make it a lot easier, I would go for the reigning champions, Athletic Escaldes. They are the reigning champions in Andorra. You will get a lot of Spanish players in your side, and you will also get a lot of new gens coming through from Andorra as well, so that will help. I have to say I don't recognize any of the players in this team here. I'm not familiar with the league, but there will be some good players for this division. They're all transfer value ranked to 0 because the Andorran League is very small. But if you wanted to make this challenge even more harder for yourself, like absolutely impossible, then start off in the Andorran 3rd division if you can, or the Andorran 2nd division. That would make it even harder than what you have to be. And my choice for the Andorran 2nd division will be Casa Ben. It is a team based off of Benfica, so why not pick this unique side to take on the Andorran Challenge in the Andorran League with FC Andorra. There's a lot of Andorrans there. You've got no squad to start off with. You'll have to put your own squad together if you do choose Casa Benfica, but it would be a very, very interesting one, in my humble opinion. I don't ever see anyone managing the Andorran 2nd division. But if you are on console, there is another way that you can take on this challenge. For console players, you will be able to pick FC Andorra in the Spanish 2nd division. You can also pick them on PC as well, making this challenge accessible to both console and PC players, which is absolutely great. Now, FC Andorra are owned by Gerard Piqué. He has part share in the football club. They are in the Spanish 2nd division. You will get new gens through from Andorra in this save. This is one save I did on FM23 over on my TikTok channel and absolutely loved it. I have to say it was one of my most favourite saves I've ever done in Football Manager, coupling this with Andorra national side as well. Some big players in the side already are Diego Allende. He's a very decent Spanish centre-back playing for FC Andorra. Players like Sergi Sampar is not too bad also as well, but the main man in the middle of the park is Jandro Aureliano. The former Barcelona B player is a silky baller at this level and has got bags and bags and bags of talent. Ivan Gill is a decent cam as well to have at the football club. They're not too bad. They're predicted to finish mid-table in the Spanish 2nd division, and as you can see, there's some big teams in the Spanish 2nd division currently. Teams like Levante, are in there. Valladolid, owned by the original Ronaldo, Raul Zagarofa, and Sporting Gijón in there as well. It's a very stacked division. 3 sides go up from there. And it will be a great team to choose, particularly if you are a console player and you want to take on this Andorra challenge. You won't be able to build up the Andorran League, but you will be able to build up FC Andorra, which I feel is definitely worth it. They're a good side to be. You get some great new gens through the club, and being in the Spanish division makes this side even easier in terms of the challenge you have to take on. It does count as winning the Champions League with an Andorran side if you do FC Andorra. Obviously, it's a lot easier to do so being part of the Spanish Football Federation and being part of the Spanish football pyramid system. However, if you can do this with an Andorran league side and you are playing on PC, I would highly recommend it. You don't ever really see anyone playing as an Andorran side on Football Manager. And if you could win a UEFA Conference League with an Andorran side, you will be absolutely goated in my humble opinion. Let me know in the comments below which side you want to take this on. If you want to see me take this on again at some point, maybe potentially being an Andorran side instead of FC Andorra. If you get enough for you to comment on it, I will put it in my plans for future content. But before we finish out this video, I'm going to give you some of my top tips that I used when I was being FC Andorra to take on this challenge. My top tips for taking on this challenge is to start with FC Andorra. It will make it easier for you, and if you are a console player, you can do this. The first thing I would do is upgrade the training facilities and the youth facilities to make sure you get, 1, you get those youth players through, and 2, you can then train them to become the world-class player that you need them to be to take the Andorran nation forward. I would also get in a very good head of youth development, make sure your coaching's on point, your scouting's on point, your junior coaching is upgraded as well. These are all the main tips that I always go for in a cookie cutter type approach to all of my saves. Apply them, it will make you successful long term. What I would say is you're going to need a hell of an amount of patience. It's not going to be a quick and easy save. It's not going to be over in 15, 20 seasons if you do choose the Andorran side. If you do choose FC Andorra, winning the Champions League, you could realistically do this probably in 10 seasons, maybe less if you've got some very overpowered tactics and you get very lucky in the transfer market. But in terms of the Andorran national side winning competitions, I would estimate 15 to 20 seasons, maybe a little bit more, depending on if you get new gens through. It's all going to revolve around the new players coming through and players that you bring into FC Andorra that can then become Andorran and want to play for the Andorran national side. That's where it's going to get very tricky. That's where a lot of luck and planning comes into it. But ultimately, it is one of the best challenges you can do in Football Manager, one of the most enjoyable and probably the most rewarding challenge I've ever done personally in this game. Getting them to a semi-final of the Euros with Andorra was a big, big achievement for me. Qualifying for World Cups, qualifying for Euros. I didn't quite get the second step in. I will revisit that on my bucket list and tick that off. But let me know in the comments if you want me to do this, or if you've done this challenge and your success. I would love to rate a save that has completed this challenge. It would be unbelievable. And if not, I'll see you guys on another video.